Howdy folks, my name's Darren from RC Scale Models. Today again I'm back with you with another kit. We have a brand new kit, I think a brand new manufacturer as well, called Yuma. We have the 148 scale AV-8B Harrier 2 Plus. I like the Harrier. My favourite aircraft is the vertical takeoff beast in its time. It held up, it was a pretty good aircraft, naval strike aircraft. This is obviously the marine version. Hoping down the line they do the European version, the British, or who else flies it, shall I say, Spain. They still fly the Harrier and stuff, so hopefully they bring out the other versions. So again, let's take a look inside this box and see what we get. So we've got a nice box art from Yuma, flying over near the mountains. Got a hare or a rabbit. So it's 148 scale, wingspan 195mm, fuselage 303mm, which is about 30 centimeters, which is about this big. It's not a big aircraft, 148 scale. See, we do have cartograph decals. We have Lambo 3D printed cockpit instrument decal set. Basically, it's like Quinta, but a Japanese version, I think. 3 marine markings, which is pretty cool. I'm torn between these two with the black tail. There is a ton of aftermarket options out there as well if you don't fancy them schemes. This side, item number or kit number D1001. Either built up model or CAD work. There's a 3D decal set, a couple of metal parts, obviously cartograph decals, which is a nice touch. We have a mast set, and extra parts there. Not sure what that is. Could be more. Could be photo-etch. The sturdy box, or sturdy-ish, is loaded with plastic though. So we have clear. I do see off the bat. I don't know if you can see that. We have 2 canopy options, clear or non-clear, because the deck cord is a 3D printed option you can stick on there, so that's a nice touch. I noticed also the front windshield's got a seam through it that's going to have to be taken care of. What's in here? We do have part of the canopy. That's actually nice. They've done that in the box for protection. So 1 sprue, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and wheels 15, canopy 16. Tons of sprues in this bag. And plastic. I'm dropping it everywhere. I want to get down to the bottom. The paperwork. So let's pop this back in the bag for a minute. Let me tidy this up and then we get to instructions. So straight off the back of the paperwork, we have the Lambo 3D printed cockpit sets. So what they're doing it for other aircraft. We have the A10. F2, F18 Eagle, F16, F4J Phantom, A10 Thunderbolt. These are 72nd scale aircraft. It's like they're doing figure sets for 1 to 350 to 700 scale ships, which is nice. 32 scale cockpits, F16, Mirage 2000C, I think that is. AH-64 is Apache, AAIZ Viper, I think that's another helicopter, and AH-64 another Apache. 48 aircraft, Phantom, Tomcat, F-16, F-18 Eagle, another F-18 Eagle, UF-27 Flanker, that's Russian, MiG-31, F-22. What kit's that for? That's the Hashtag kit. because I have F22, but it's not Assad, it's Academy version. A10C Thunderbolt. Tamir's F-35 Lightning, F-104J, Starfighter. We have the A4M Skyhawk, F-4B Phantom, AK-52. You get the drift. Tons of detail stuff. Booklet, really thick. Massive manual there. So this is going to be a little bit of a lengthy video because there's a ton of plastic, a ton of stuff. So let's adjust this camera slightly. So there's the booklet, nice print of the box art, and we have all information that is needed. Tools. How to take sprue, how to cut stuff off the sprue and clean up, how to do your decals, all your ledger to pay attention to. Cockpit seat, I think it's a Mark in Baker seat, I'm not sure what version. 2 halves and the centre part. I did notice with the 3D printed cockpit set there's no seat belts, so you're going to have to source that because the seat is printed on belts, but it still looks a bit odd. Cockpit floor, the ejector seat rail, and then internals for the side walls of the cockpit to make up this tub section. In goes the seat, detail parts on the bottom. I think the landing gear sits on top of the cockpit area. It does call out what the parts are actually. So we have cockpit wheel well, basically that's what they're explaining. Nose cockpit area going together. Cockpit wheel well assembly, basically. Belly, they're calling it for the lower section, because I've got drilled out some holes, 1.7mm, 1.3, 1.7. Just be careful of the versions you're doing. Side of your fuselage halves, touching the belly and landing gear sections. Once that's done, it can be sandwiched up. Big locating tabs by the looks of things. We've got some detail parts at the bottom of the belly. I think these actually are, these looks like chuff buckets or whatever it is, and I think this is an air brake. More these are chaff buckets or pods. So these ones might be flares then, I'm not sure. And then we have the tails, tailplane and rudder go in assembly. They're calling it the vertical tail. These ones are horizontal tail. Airframe, these caps are for the engine nozzles to twist, which is what you got here. The engine nozzles are kind of slide molded, which is a nice touch because it'd be a bit of a complex shape to pull off. Most of the time the aircraft that have come out before from the Harriers from other manufacturers, they've always had to be replaced by resin because otherwise you've got nasty seams, but they managed to pull off a nice 3D, not 3D version, but a slide molded version. So left and right of the nozzles, airframe, these side attachments, aircraft wings or airfoil as they're calling it. Couple of detailed parts of the wing. Some more holes have to be drilled, 0.9, 1mm, 2mm. Leading edge slats attaching the wing. Open or closed vents. The big first stage compressor fan intake. Nicely done. Lumps and bumps on top. Refueling probe, open or closed, which is here. We have I don't know how you pronounce it, as a GAP 12U gun pod. I'm not sure what, actually quite 100% sure what these are. Are they the electronics warfare mechanisms or whatever it is? Not 100% sure what that is. We have the belly mount, so attachments. I think this is an air brake as well, could be, not sure. Lumps and bumps again. Fuselage being attached to the other fuselage, sorry, the cockpit fuselage to the main fuselage. This is canopy rail. Cockpit instrument panel going in now, a little bit later. Canopy frame, photo-etch mirrors. This is the photo-etch HUD, so it's telling you how to where to bend, do the bends. So basically this comes like this, and these ends just fold up, and then you've got a bit of film here to go into the HUD. Then that gets attached to the combing over the cockpit frame or canopy frame, canopy going on, open or closed as well. Pitot tubes in little bumps and bumps. Then we have these extended parts on the back of the aircraft. I think these are the little wheels for stabilising when it lands. Hard points, more hard points, more weapon hard points. More weapon hard points. There's a ton of hard points on here for different loadouts and stuff. We have flaps assembly, and then attaching the flaps where they are. I just imagine they're in the down position on this kit. Right undercarriage, landing leg. This is the ones that attach to those little pylons that stick out the wings. Left landing leg, that makes sense. That's being attached, left and right. All your hard points have been previously done. We have all weapon callouts now. So we have ASRAMs, is it? 9Ms or RAMs 9Ms. AGM-64, which is a long-range missile, I think, or guided bomb. Not sure. GBU-12, I know that's a guided bomb missile. I think this might be a long-range missile. Fuel tanks, Lancer pod, main landing gear, or nose landing gear I should say, being attached. Rear landing gear, which is here, as you can see here. Landing gear doors, flipping the aircraft over, and just calling out for a couple of detailed parts to be attached in the 3D printed parts, I'm not sure. And then all your sprues, which is a ton of plastic. Here is the layout for where all your 3D printed parts go, all in the cockpit, and obviously the canopy deck cord type thing. Again, they did all this, but they didn't give you the belts for your seat, which is a bit of a shame. So that's going to have to be sourced, because it's just going to look odd otherwise. Paint callouts, which is nice done. Generic paints, names, and then you've got paint manufacturers, Tamir, Mr. Hobby, which is always on there pretty much. Never heard of this manufacturer before. And then ammo, die cut masks for the intake, your tail, this is for the big black tail to be painted, canopy, etc. So it shouldn't be too difficult. A nice thick manual. So over here is all your decals, the 3D printed parts, paint callouts in this bag. And what looks like a correction sheet as well. So it looks like we have a correction sheet for one of the Jabir 12s. Probably just assembly steps. They've probably got the numbers wrong. Nice they managed to pick that up. Here's the 3D printed cockpit set. See if I can get into this. So here is the 3D printed decal set. I'm going to leave this in this bag. That looks pretty good to me. Small decal sheet. We've got some metal pins. Just don't want to lose these parts. Here is your mask set. Strangely, it's done on this backing plastic. That's different. Tiny bit of photo-etch. Come on, focus. Here's for your HUD. And I notice also in this small bag you can see the little film HUD parts. Cartograph decals, a nice decal sheet in sharp register colour. Carrier film's quite minimal. They're a little bit shiny, but should go down nicely. I think they're the best in the world, or some of the best in the world. Cockpit instrument panels as well, if you don't want to do those. And then giant callouts for your colours. So let's change the camera angle again. So we have this version here with the black tail WE. This is from USS Richard, February 2016. It's basically dark sea grey. I think that is it dark sea grey? Or they're just calling out grey. Serial number FS36118. And the underside is a little bit lighter. FS36231. Federal Standard colours basically. This one here is from Iraq, 2003. Again, dark and light undersides. Operation in Iraq. This one here is stencil data. This section here, and decal for deck cord as well. Decal for your ordnance. Decals for this one here is where's this one? I can't pronounce that, I'm not sure. Air Base is March Operation 2019. I'm not sure where that is. I think this is abroad. I think this is another one. But again, nice dark light underside with the red and black tail. Pretty cool marine markings. Because there's a ton of plastic, I'm not going to do it in any particular order. I'm just going to work my way from the top. And we do have the clear sprue straight off the bat, so nicely done. Nice framing, protect the front windshield. Like I say, it does have a seam line. It's got to be taken care of because that shouldn't be there. Blanked out and deck cord version. If you're going to do the deck cord version, I would use probably a Posca pen because it's quite narrow. You could just get in there and paint it and then clean up the access because it is a little bit raised on the inside. And lights. Everything out the box is all there to do it, but I was just disappointed that there was no seatbelts. They go all the trouble of giving you the instrument panel set and stuff for the cockpit, but forget the seatbelts. It just seems a bit odd to me. This looks like a GBU-12. Is it a GBU-12 weapon? Bombs. Nicely done. Nothing difficult there. Here, one-piece wheels. Nice tread pattern. I'm not going to bother getting these out of the bag. I don't really need to. The inserts have got to be taken care of for the wheels to slot into. I kind of weighted a little bit. That's a nice touch. 2 fuselage halves. So let's get this out of the bags. So we have this section of the fuselage. It would be this way round, I think. So it is nicely done. When I've been watching the test shots and videos and pictures people were putting up from Yuma, the kit looked a bit shabby at first, and the panel lines and rivets look really fat and chunky. But now you have the kit in person, it's actually cleaner and much nicer than they were showing off before. This is all recessed, but when you get here, this is all raised. Slide molded section to get the belly. Here is raised as well. Slide molded, recessed. Nice locating tabs. Support is where your nozzles go, and obviously this side is pretty much the identical side. So I'm not going to bother. In this bag, opened or closed nozzles. Yeah, so open or close nozzles. Kind of slide molded, one piece, nicely done. Upper and lower wing section. Again, it's not a big aircraft. What was it, 30 centimeters long, wingspan 27 something. So yeah, all that detail. It is raised here where the vortex are. This is all recessed. Vortex are raised here, lumps and bumps. Very sharp, clean, crisp detail. I think this is going to be quite a decent aircraft to put together, and I think it's going to be nicely done when it's washed and weathered. I think you can get a nice Harrier out of this. There's that first stage compressor type thing. It is kind of see-through. I don't know if you'll be able to. Can you see my blade behind it moving? So it is moulded open. It's not completely solid, which is a nice touch. A little bit of paint, silver, I think that would be. What is that? Looks like a jig. I don't remember seeing that in instructions for the nose cone for your missiles to line up the fins. It's a nice touch. So here we have the cockpit nose. Sprue A, nose, slide moulded to a degree, chaff buckets here open or filled, so it's your option if you want them to be used. Nice touch. Cockpit section, these are look quite deep. In person they're not, but on the camera it's picking them up really deeply and sharp, but in person they're not. It's just the camera. These little pieces here would fold down, and this is like basically the handles and steps to climb into the cockpit. Parts of the chaff, this is, like I say, these are the used and closed, or unused and used. A couple of scoops. Here's that giant nose, bulbous nose. Here in this bag, again we have another weapon. I think this is one of the long range missiles, I'm not sure. I'm going to keep that in there. Hard points and fuel tanks. Let's have a look at these ones. They're both the same, but they are at M1 and M2, but it is technically kind of the same sprue. These hard point attachments, hard points, two separate pieces, they have to be put together. Got some locating tabs, very similar to Airfix, done that type of system before. Big locating tabs for your fuel tank. Nicely detailed. Hard points. Again, these are, this one's one piece, this one is not, because this will go to this half here. Your tail for your drop tank is one piece, slide moulded. This one is slightly different because there's a gap missing. These points are the same. These are two halves. These are two halves. But again, the tail is slide moulded. So in this one here, refueling probe, some filler gaps, refueling probe arms. So we've got two types of refueling probe. And then this one here is just detail parts, I think, like panels and stuff to have to be attached. Belly floor, or was that the air brake? Not sure, can't remember. There's like more chaff buckets, pitot tubes. Cockpit stuff, seats, aircraft cockpit frame, internal wheel wells. So this is what I was on about. Here's the seat. It has moulded on seat belts, so you have to paint them. It looks okay. It is sufficient to get away with it, but I don't like it personally. Landing gear doors, inserts for wiring, canopy frame or cockpit frame, wheel well, doors and wheel well section or landing gear section, these side parts, instrument panel, or part of it anyway. The sides of the cockpit, ejector seat, sorry. This is another part of the wheel well. Another small bag, one of the gun pods. Missiles. These are one piece here, and then obviously you've got your separate fins. What we have here, landing gear, doors and landing gear parts. Frame D. So we have landing gear, doors, or these are I'm not sure, this could be air brake actually. These are the landing gear doors, sorry, landing gear. Kind of slide molded here for some reason. I'm hoping that hole's meant to be there. It's not a short shot or anything. I'm hoping it's meant to be like that. Wheels. This funny shaped sprue. A lot of detail parts on here though. Small parts. Again, I'm not 100% sure what I'm looking at without the instructions again. Small bags. Here's those intakes. And these parts are on the side of the aircraft for blast protection. But again, these are that slide molded one piece intakes, and is raised detail as well on those angle markers. And yeah, obviously the intakes are slightly different. I think these are the rear and these are the front ones. Again, side molded to a degree to get all this fine detail. Impressive, nicely done. No need for replacement resin or aftermarket ones because they've done it correctly first time. Not sure what this piece is either. This one here, we have those poly caps basically for your nozzles, and then some kind of frame. Last big sprue, and this is the last sprues, the whole kit. Flaps, ailerons, tail plane. It is quite a complex shaped frame they've done. So basically here's your tail. This is recessed and raised. Wings. They are actually one piece. Wings. Parts of your flaps. So nicely done. So there you are, my friends, a beautiful kit. I think, in my opinion, I think it's going to go together nicely. I really do hope, because I do like the Harrier so much. As I say, it's my favourite aircraft of all time in jet wise at that era, from the early 90s and stuff. Yuma AV-8B Harrier PLUS 2 1/48 scale. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.